India versus Pakistan 2025. What caused the latest border conflict? The relationship between Pakistan and India has long been marked by volatility, and once again, recent developments have brought the two nuclear-armed neighbors dangerously close to direct confrontation. In the past few weeks, a new wave of hostilities has emerged, reigniting fears across the region and beyond. This episode of Truth Quest Documentaries explores the latest conflict, the events leading up to it, and the global implications that follow. To understand the present, we must revisit the past. The roots of Indo-Pakistani tensions go back to the 1947 partition of British India, which created two nations, India and Pakistan. This division, based largely on religious lines, led to mass displacement and bloodshed. At the heart of the conflict lies the disputed region of Kashmir. Since 1947, the two countries have fought three major wars: 1947, 1965, and 1971, with Kashmir being the primary flashpoint in two of them. Despite ceasefire agreements and diplomatic talks over the years, the line of control, LOC, which divides Indian-administered and Pakistani-administered Kashmir, remains one of the most militarized zones in the world. The most recent confrontation began in early 2025, following a violent clash near the LOC that left several soldiers dead on both sides. India accused Pakistan of orchestrating the attack by supporting cross-border militant groups, a claim Pakistan denied, insisting it was India that initiated unprovoked aggression. Soon after, reports emerged of Pakistani drones being shot down inside Indian airspace, which further escalated tensions. In retaliation, Indian forces launched targeted strikes on what they claimed were militant camps inside Pakistan-administered Kashmir. Pakistan responded with artillery fire and accused India of violating the ceasefire agreement. As skirmishes intensified, both countries ramped up their military presence near the border. Fighter jets conducted patrols, and heavy artillery was moved into sensitive areas. Civilians living near the LOC were caught in the crossfire, with several villages being evacuated due to shelling. Indian defense officials issued statements saying any attack on their territory would be met with decisive force, while Pakistani officials warned of unforeseen consequences if Indian aggression continued. News outlets from both sides carried nationalistic rhetoric, with some commentators openly questioning whether war was imminent. International reactions were swift. The United Nations, United States, China, and the European Union all expressed deep concern and called for immediate de-escalation. The UN Secretary-General urged both countries to avoid further violence and return to the negotiating table. The United States offered to mediate, while China emphasized the need for regional stability. Behind the scenes, diplomatic channels were reportedly activated, with backdoor talks taking place in neutral countries to cool tempers. However, both India and Pakistan maintained strong public postures, making it clear that they were prepared to defend their sovereignty. On the ground, the human cost of the conflict was evident. Border communities on both sides lived in fear. Schools were shut down, marketplaces deserted, and families fled their homes to seek shelter in safer areas. Hospitals struggled to treat the injured as intermittent shelling continued. Humanitarian organizations warned of a growing crisis, especially in remote areas with limited access to aid. While political leaders made headlines, it was the ordinary people who suffered the most, caught between two powerful armies and left to deal with the trauma of war. Despite the sharp escalation, by the end of the month, signs of de-escalation began to emerge. Ceasefire talks were quietly reinitiated through military hotlines and diplomatic envoys. Both sides pulled back some of their forward-deployed troops and reopened certain civilian border crossings. Yet, the situation remains fragile. Analysts warn that without a long-term political solution, such incidents are bound to recur. Mistrust between the two nations runs deep, and peace remains elusive in the absence of honest dialogue and sustained diplomacy. As of now, the world watches closely. The potential for conflict between Pakistan and India is not just a regional concern, it's a global one. With both countries possessing nuclear weapons and large standing armies, any full-scale war could have devastating consequences far beyond South Asia. The question remains: will cooler heads prevail, or will the ghosts of history once again lead to destruction? The story of Pakistan and India is not just about politics, borders, or ideology. It's about the lives of over 1.5 billion people who deserve peace, stability, and a future free of fear. Only time will tell whether these nations can break the cycle of conflict and choose a path of reconciliation.